Hello everyone, welcome to our channel. We are going to listen Christian Horner. Let's listen to him.
Camped into the AstroTurf covered centre of the Hard Rock Stadium, trying to find a bit of shade with Christian Horner, the team principal of Red Bull. First things first, I've got a new racing dad in your midst. Got little Lily a Red Bull baby girl yet?
Yeah, look, I mean, it's great news for Max and Kelly and for their family. It's great. It's really a big thing becoming a father, and Max is super proud, and rightly so.
We talk often about wanting, and there's so many championships to get a credible female Formula One racer. Has she just been born?
Well, look, I mean, I've been getting into horses over the last few years, and when you look at the bloodlines, that's what it's all about. And you look at the DNA of like a Verstappen and a Piquet. I mean, there's 7 world championships between them. It might not be a bad thing.
Not forgetting Max's mum as well.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I mean, that's you're absolutely right.
There you go. That's the new one for the Red Bull Young Driver Programme. Dr. Marco, take under the wing. With regards to that session, with regards to this weekend, I think it's going to be a tight one.
I think so. I mean, it's hot, it's tough. I mean, the curbs look pretty brutal now with these cars. I think everybody's running so stiff that you see the cars, really being quite aggressive over the curbs. And of course, then degradation in the race is a track you can overtake at. And of course, a sprint weekend as well with plenty of points on hand. So anything can happen.
Do you like sprint weekend generally? Does it put the team under too much stress?
It comes in waves. I mean, you have this mad Friday, and then obviously the sprint race in the morning, and then that's the first time you then get to change the car again for qualifying, and then suddenly you're back to normality in the build-up to a Grand Prix. So it's just different. I think everybody's just adapted to the challenge that a sprint brings, but it's certainly pretty intense for the engineering team.
Quick one on Yuki. Obviously, he had a bit of testing at Silverstone. Yep. When we heard him in the press conference, it wasn't like he was saying this is going to dramatically change where I'm at. But how useful do you think it proved from a team perspective?
I think it's just more seat time, him getting used to the engineering, the way that the team works and so on. I think he's doing a nice job, and he's brought a really positive energy into the team. He's a character. He's offering some really useful feedback as well. Which is giving a good direction.
Do you think he's better mentally able to cope with having Max across the garage, got more experience, and is he in the right mindset for that?
Yeah, I think he's in his 5th year, and so he's done quite a few races now. He understands how it works, and what I've noticed with him, he's not obsessing what Max is doing. He's just focusing on his own setup with his engineer, and not trying to mirror what's going on the other side of the garage, which I think is the right approach.
You must be happy though to see what Isaac Hadjar come out the box. He's looked pretty quick, hasn't he?
I think he's exceeded all of our expectations. I mean, he's looked really very impressive so far this season, and particularly at tracks he's not been to. He's very little mileage, in a Grand Prix car at all. So, and he's taken to it like a duck to water. So he's been very impressive so far.
Yeah, the team they seem super impressed that he's the real deal. I mean, obviously had a dramatic start in Australia, didn't he? But like you say, there's a lot of feedback coming through to the media as well.
Yeah, he's very together. I mean, I think this crop of juniors that are coming in now, you can see they're just ready to adapt to Formula One, and they're full of confidence, they're full of energy, and Isaac has driven brilliantly, I think, so far this year at pretty much all new circuits to him.
Can I ask what happened with the F1 Commission? Obviously, there was a meeting about the engines. We had what happened in Bahrain, and then it looks like it's kind of been kicked down the road a little bit. What happened in there?
Well, look, I'm not going to go into too much detail about the commission itself, but there's a couple of things going on. There's a discussion about what should the engine for the future of Formula One be, but that's 2, 3, 4 years away. And then there's a question of tidying up the current regulations. And the FIA have put on the table, I think they finally had a good look at these regs, and they're seeing that next year there could be a huge amount of lift and coasting, during the course of a Grand Prix, and that's going to drive the drivers mad. The car's obviously going to have DRS open at all times, so there's going to be not the overtaking effect that you would see. And so they tabled a proposal where we leave all the technical specification the same, but we would just reduce the battery energy in the race so that you effectively have a push to pass. So I think it has merit, and I think in the bigger picture of Formula One, I think it's definitely worth consideration. It doesn't change the spec, it doesn't change the maximum power of these engines. It's just when the deployment is.
But you need a supermajority to get that through, and a lot of the manufacturers are baked in on what they want to do next year. Nothing's going to change, is it?
I think that you're right. You need a supermajority, but I think sometimes you've got to look at the interest of the sport. And I think that we all believe that we've got good power units for next year. I think that what we just want to avoid is we're going to have lift and coasting in qualifying at some races next year. I think to have it to such a degree in the race, particularly at certain circuits, it will be particularly bad. I think it's well worth a look at because, for sure it's going to be a factor. And without effectively DRS being available next year, with very low downforce on the straights as we're trying to recharge these batteries, would it be a bad thing to have a push to pass?
But it was inevitable, wasn't it? You get rid of the H out of the turbo, you put a bigger battery on. There's no front axle regeneration like there is on some road cars and Le Mans cars, for example. We were never going to be able to generate enough electricity. How has it got this far?
Well, we had these discussions 2 years ago, and in fact, in fairness to the other manufacturers, they were in agreement with, that it's just too much to recover. But we kept going down this route, I think, hoping that there might be a solution. And I think that, we just need to make sure Formula One's in a great place at the moment. The racing's great, it's tight. Drivers having to lift and coast halfway down the straight at certain tracks, it's going to be pretty brutal. And I think that, sometimes you've got to put aside competitive interest and think, okay, what's actually best for Formula One?
So for a tweak, just to explain the supermajority, that's everyone but one OEM, right?
Yes.
Of the
power unit manufacturers.
Yeah, power unit manufacturers. Yeah. Okay, can I just point your attention to something that we spotted on the pit wall that I just want to... I mean, is he at it again, Zach Brown? Can we just bring up this picture?
What's he got there?
Tyre water. It's very hot out there, but
we'll send him a Red Bull down if he needs some energizing.
Talking of F1 being in a good place, just announced today, Formula One's announced this is going to be on the calendar until 2041.
Unbelievable.
If I'm the right side of the grass, I'll be 82 and watching it from home.
Yeah.
Will you be here?
Well, look, I mean, 2041, I can't even imagine, how far away is that? That's an insane amount of time. But, look, it's great. And I think, Formula One really struggled in America a few years ago. Now we're here with 3 Grand Prix. And Miami is one of the best. It's one of the landmark races that everyone wants to be at. The city's great. The circuit, it gives them, with that amount of longevity, maybe they can invest a little bit in the track as well. But as an experience to come to this race, it's definitely one to be on the bucket list.
It's a bucket list, 2041. We might all be bent over on our Zimmer frames coming down here just for the joints, the heat. That's what they do down here, don't they? Thank you, Christian. We appreciate it. Right.
Yeah, such a long interview with Christian Horner. Firstly, congratulations to the Max Verstappen becoming a father. Yesterday, as you know, he was absent at the media day, but today he was at the practice one driving and trying to find some pace on this Red Bull. The Red Bull has a lot of problems, but I think behind the problems, I think we have a much more bigger problem with the next year's regulations. As Christian Horner said, there is a lot of problems with the battery, with the weight of the car on the straight. As you know, like a Monza, they need to downshift the car because the battery is going to be empty at the end of the straight. I think the whole sport next year will let's say struggle, and let's hope maybe they will find any solution about this problem. If we came for the Yuki Tsunoda, he had a test at Great Britain at the Silverstone, but the weather not helped much him, and he's just trying to close that gap with Max Verstappen and close that gap that he lost with Red Bull's stupid choice with with Liam Lawson. And I think Yuki is doing good. Unfortunately, last race he had a moment with Pierre Gasly, but this time this track will be very big opportunity to Yuki Tsunoda to show him skills and to show to everyone how fast is he. And if you have anything about this interview to comment, just don't forget to comment it, like the video, and subscribe to the channel.